Hi, I'm Sean, and a very warm welcome. Today I'm talking about a very positive day, the 11th of December. That's a Thursday. So you might be thinking, how do I take advantage of a positive energy day like this? The answer is to do as much as you can on the day, particularly in the area where your house is activated. So if the second house is activated, it would be clever to do money stuff. Just an example. So listen to my intro, and then scroll down for your sun and rising sign to see which houses are activated. December the 11th is an important day in astrology. It's called a pivot because the energy changes direction. On this day, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. Mercury also forms a trine with Neptune. These two events happen on the same morning. This creates a strong influence on thinking, creativity, and spiritual growth. Let's explore what this means and how it can be used. So let me first chat about Mercury entering Sagittarius. Mercury is the planet of communication and thought. It rules how we speak, write, and learn. Send an email, that's Mercury in action. When Mercury changes signs, the way we think also changes. Before December 11th, Mercury was in Scorpio. In Scorpio, Mercury focuses on deep questions, secrets, and sometimes emotional truth. It's like a detective looking for hidden facts. When Mercury enters Sagittarius, the focus shifts. Sagittarius is about exploration, travel, and big ideas. It asks questions like, what is the meaning of life? What is the bigger picture? How can I learn from other cultures? What kind of adventures are out there for me? For example, a person who was focused on private matters may now want to plan a trip. A student may start thinking about studying abroad. A writer may want to write about freedom or spiritual growth. This is the kind of change Mercury in Sagittarius brings. On the same day, Mercury forms a trine with Neptune. A trine is an aspect that creates easy flow between two planets. Think of it as very positive energy. Neptune is the planet of dreams, intuition, and imagination. When Mercury and Neptune connect in this way, thinking becomes more creative and spiritual. For example, a poet may find words flowing easily. A painter may see clear images in their mind. A healer may feel strong intuition about what their client needs. This is a good time for meditation, writing, and any activity that needs imagination. It is also a good time to listen to your inner voice. If you have been confused about a decision, this day can bring clarity through intuition. For me, December 11th opens a window for spiritual and creative work. Mercury in Sagittarius wants to learn and explore. Neptune wants to dream and connect with the soul. Together they create a space for big ideas and deep insight. One caution: Neptune can make things feel ideal or unreal. It's easy to dream big but forget practical steps. If you have a vision, write down how you can make it real. Okay, so let's look at each sign and see where the positive energy will flow. Hi Aries, Mercury enters your 9th house of travel, higher learning and beliefs. Neptune is in your 12th house of spirituality and inner life. So what's the impact here? Great for studying philosophy, planning a trip, or starting meditation. For example, you might sign up for an online course about world religions or write a blog about your spiritual journey. Hi Taurus, Mercury moves into your 8th house of shared money and transformation. Neptune is in your 11th house of friendships and networks. This is good for financial planning with others or joining a spiritual group. An example, you may discuss investments with a partner or join a creative community online. Hi Gemini, Mercury enters your 7th house of partnerships. Neptune is in your 10th house of career and public image. Conversations with partners can inspire clever career ideas. An example, a business partner may suggest a creative project that improves your reputation. Hi Cancer, Mercury moves into your 6th house of work and health. Neptune is in your 9th house of beliefs and learning. This could be good for learning new skills at work or starting a spiritual health routine. An example, you might take a course on mindfulness or yoga for stress relief. Hi Leo, Mercury enters your 5th house of creativity and romance. Neptune is in your 8th house of deep emotions and shared money. So what's the impact? Creative projects can be good and deep. Example, you might start painting something that expresses your feelings. There could be healing conversations about debt or taxes. Hi Virgo, Mercury moves into your 4th house of home and family. Neptune is in your 7th house of relationships. I think family talks can bring clarity about relationships. An example, you might have a meaningful conversation with a partner about building a home together. If you're in a relationship, why not chat about the possibility of moving in together? Hi Libra, Mercury enters your third house of communication and learning. Neptune is in your sixth house of work and health. So what's the impact? This could be good for writing, teaching, and creative problems, particularly solving at work. An example, you may write an inspiring article or create a new system for your team. Why not write an inspiring Teams chat in a work group or something similar? If any of you are academics, brainstorm on this day for a research idea. Hi Scorpio, Mercury moves into your second house of money and values. Neptune is in your fifth house of creativity and pleasure. So what's the impact with this house combo? You could have creative ideas about how you make money. An example, you might start selling handmade art or think about writing a book that reflects your values. The fifth house is also a house of speculation, and with the second house activated, buy a lottery ticket. But just one. Hi Sagittarius, Mercury enters your first house of self and identity. Neptune is in your fourth house of home and roots. Your ideas feel inspired and personal. A quick question for you. Is where you're living good for you right now? You might come up with some creative ideas to improve your home. Some more examples. You may start a blog about your life or redecorate your home with a spiritual vibe. Hi Capricorn. Mercury moves into your 12th house of inner life and dreams. Neptune is in your third house of communication. This is good for journaling and spiritual writing. An example, you might write down dreams or start a meditation podcast. Why not have some fun on the 11th and start a dream journal? It might just change your life. Hi Aquarius, Mercury enters your 11th house of friends and goals. Neptune is in your second house of money and values. Here, friends can inspire financial or creative ideas. An example, a friend may suggest a joint creative project that earns income. There is money to be made here with your community, or relationships with others too. Hi Pisces, Mercury moves into your 10th house of career and public life. Neptune is in your first house of self and identity. Career ideas could feel inspired and aligned with your true self. An example, you may start a coaching business or share creative work publicly. A quick question, how do you see yourself at work? This is a good reflection for you right now.